What's up, everyone? It's Ruby here, bringing you guys another movie review. Today we're going to be reviewing The Little Mermaid live-action remake, starring Halle and a bunch of other people that I don't know. I think the way I would put this is that it is one of the better Disney live-action remakes, but there are areas where it is obviously lacking. And I would actually say that most of the music is lacking the Alan Menken, the celebratory feeling that we usually get in the Little Mermaid score. There are some performances that are really good, and others that definitely needed more. I would say the most disappointing performance easily was Under the Sea. I mean, oh my gosh, it was easily the most underwhelming performance of the entire movie. And that's disappointing. Kiss the Girl, I think, was actually pretty decent. There are some changes that I didn't love about the music, but it's whatever. I think that the romance in general was handled really well, but I think that where it made up in those instances, it kind of went back down during the other problems of the movie. I think it's very clear that the only person in that movie who can really sing is Halle Berry, and that kind of creates a problem because it makes everyone else sound really bad. For some people, their performances would normally be okay, but since the bar is set so high, it's like she's on Broadway and they're in like High School Musical or something. It's like there's a certain quality that is lacking in the other performances, which is more apparent when they're alone. I also didn't love a lot of the CGI. There was a couple moments where CGI really stood out to be really good, but there was a lot of it was not great. Like if we're gonna compare it to something more recent that was also underwater a lot, Aquaman would be a good comparison. I think definitely the CGI for Aquaman underwater was better, but I think that for what the Little Mermaid did, like it was kind of like alright. It was like, I think this entire movie was like a 7 out of 10 movie, where it's like, it's good, there are some parts that could be better, and there are some parts that are a little bit worse than what they should be. And that's kind of my feeling throughout the movie. I did see it in IMAX, and that was like probably the best way to see it. Unless you have like 4K television at home, maybe see it in IMAX. It's probably going to be the best way to see it. I don't know about 3D. I never watched things in 3D, but I'm sure it was good in 3D. It was good in IMAX. But I would not pay standard tickets to see it. I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth seeing in standard. I don't think it's worth seeing like, standard at home. Like I would definitely think like if you're gonna watch it in high definition, and it's gonna be better. But overall, probably, I think the way that I would say it is kind of my same feeling about Beauty and the Beast. I like Beauty and the Beast live action, but there are some areas in Beauty and the Beast where it's like not as great. Like for example, Be Our Guest was a very underwhelming performance as well. So it's like there are some parts where it's better than the original, and then there's some parts where it's really not better. And I think it's kind of obvious where those parts are, but I think a lot of it was that they focused a lot on Ariel and Eric, which is good, but it diminished a lot of the side character parts, like and that scuttlebutt thing was the most cringe thing I've seen in a while, which is saying a lot. Like, that just, oh my god, did that not work at all? Melissa McCarthy as Ursula was pretty good too. I think that definitely Melissa and Halle carried a lot of the movie. The other performances, not as great. Not as good, to be honest. There were some changes that they made of like the way that they tell the story. Wasn't a fan of it. Wasn't a huge fan of it. I think that they were really trying to fill out some airtime, trying to make this like excuse. It's kind of weird the way that they went about it. I don't think it was really needed the way that they did it. And I think also the wardrobe was lacking. We only saw her in like one dress the entire movie, and then another dress at the end of the movie. It was like, that was it. That was it. even though Ariel has a couple of other dresses that are really nice, that would be like, they definitely like modernize and bring to the live screen. They didn't even bother to do that, which was kind of disappointing, but it's like, whatever. I don't think it's winning any costume designing points. Like, I don't think any of the dresses were like phenomenal. Like, she looked pretty in them, but it was like, there's kind of like the basic like bare minimum they could have done. Like, overall, it was really just like a 7 out of 10 movie. It felt like a lot of the actors, a lot of like the director and everything were just saying like, you know what, let's just get this done, get this over with. Disney wants us to do this movie, so let's do it, and we'll just call it a day. Like, there are some parts that I really liked. The idea of expanding on Eric and Ariel's relationship in between the movie, but it's like, then we don't really get as much of the other characters, which are just as important. And like, I feel like they were trying to make the sisters a lot more of a bigger character, but then they didn't. It's like, but then they didn't. Which, in fact, they actually cut some of the parts that the sisters originally had in the movie. Like, in the original movie, it's like they cut some of the parts that the sisters actually had and just gave them nothing to work with. And I think if you highlighted that sister relationship, it would have been a lot better. But instead, they just completely cut it out of the movie, basically. It's like, not great. It's like, I also didn't like that they changed the breed of Max from an old English sheepdog to, I think it was like a poodle mix or something. That's just nitpicking, though. Is like, I have 2 old English sheepdogs, so I'm like, that sucks. Because old English sheepdogs always get underrepresented in media. It's just a thing. But I think overall, again, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Is it worth seeing in theaters? If you're a fan of The Little Mermaid, and you've always wanted to see it in theaters, I would say it's worth it, but only if you do it in IMAX or like 3D or something like that. If you're not a fan, if you are only like mediocre about Little Mermaid, if you're only like not a huge fan, probably sit this one out. Probably not for you. It really does depend on you actually having a good relationship with the Little Mermaid story and actually liking the movie to begin with. So I would say that. Other than that, I have nothing else to add, nothing else to say. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. We're not going to talk about the Sebastian and Flounder designs that I hated, but it was okay. It was like, they didn't really do anything with them. They pretty much cut them out of the movie entirely, so it was like, it's whatever. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time. Peace out, guys. It's been a blast. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!